Hello and welcome to EUTV Sports Update. We'll be looking at the latest sports news of Evangel University and around the region. I'm Ethan Mincy.
We'll also look at college basketball across the nation and check out the latest happenings in professional sports. I'm Adriana McGregor and this is Sports Update on EUTV.
So Adriana, this is our final sports update for the semester and finals are around the corner. Do you think that the athletes, EU athletes are doing okay balancing both sport and finals?
I think so, yeah. I think it's something that they've probably had to deal with before with like midterms and stuff. So I think they're doing good. And I'm excited, to dive in. We have a lot of baseball and softball and tennis games to get into today.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at some of those.
Yeah. In McPherson, Kansas, the Evangel softball team dominated the field on Saturday, sweeping McPherson with back-to-back victories, 11-2 and 18-3. Maddie Meyer took the win in Game 1, improving 16-2 with a stellar 0.96 ERA, while Maddie Bentley notched her 10th win in Game 2. Ellie Falcom set the tone early with a 3-run homer in the first inning, and Evangel never looked back, racking up runs with aggressive hitting and capitalizing on McPherson's errors. That's 4 straight road series for Valor, and they're not slowing down. In Springfield, Missouri, Evangel Baseball wrapped up their weekend series against Southwestern on Saturday, but came up short in both games. Game 2 saw a late rally by the Valor, who brought the tying run to the plate, but ultimately fell 7-5. In Game 3, the offense came too late, as Evangel dropped the final game 8-4. Matthew Olson and Quentin Edwards led the charge with key RBIs, but it wasn't enough to overcome the early home runs by Southwestern. Evangel now sits 13-29 on the season, still fighting hard in conference play.
Evangel men's tennis traveled to Kansas on Saturday morning, looking to notch another win in conference play, taking on the Tabor College Blue Jays. Evangel would take the point in doubles and drop just one singles match, taking a 6-1 win on the road Saturday. In singles, Angel Gomez dominated with scores of 6, 4, and 6 in his game. Emilio Chavaria won 2 of the matches at 6 apiece, and Gabriel Leal with scores of 7 and 6. Evangel will return home on Saturday to host Bethany College at 10 a.m. in their regular season finale. And on the women's tennis side, the Valor Women's Tennis completed their final road match of the regular season on Saturday morning, looking to take down the Tabor College Blue Jays as well. The women competed well and put forth a dominant effort, sweeping the Blue Jays in a 7-0 road victory. Lauren Hendrickson, J.C. Wilson, and Madeline Peters all dominated their competition, all sharing an opponent scoreless matches of 6-0, with Lydia Bajelica following close behind with her sets of 6-2 and 6-0. Valor Women's Tennis returns home for their final match of the regular season next Saturday morning at 10 a.m. against the Bethany Swedes. Adriana, it looks like they're doing pretty okay. I know as a, athlete, when I was in high school, having to balance finals and sports has been really hard, and, but it looks like they got under control and they're handling it pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it can be hard to balance school life and athlete life, but I think our athletes do a good job, and we see that with results that they
absolutely, and depending on the amount of classes they have, hopefully that they can make it through to the end.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Coming up, we will be having a sports recap you don't want to miss.
And later on, we will be talking about the results of the Masters and more sports around the region. Stay tuned.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211, get connected, get help.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Roy McIlroy's long, painful wait for the career Grand Slam is finally over. The greatest achievement of his career was at the nerve-wracking and dramatic as the near misses that came before it. The 35-year-old from Northern Ireland came a shaky start and even more intense finish in the final round of the 89th Masters at Augusta National Golf Club on Sunday to defeat Justin Rose in the first hole of a sudden death playoff to win a green jacket and become the only sixth golfer to compete the career in the Grand Slam. McIlroy thanked his family and team while accepting the trophy just before he slipped on his green jacket. The Nuggets are going through one of the most roughest patches as they ended up firing their head coach, Michael Malone. Malone had been the Nuggets head coach for 10 years and has shown lots of tough love and supports to his team. However, Malone has had a cold war between him and general manager Calvin Booth, and it made the environment toxic. Many faculty and staff were divided and felt compelled to pick a side. Because of this and many other instances of fighting breaking out, the team was left no choice but to fire their head coach. As devastated as the team was, they knew it was the right decision and will keep the memory of their beloved coach in their hearts.
A record-setting night in Vancouver where the Whitecaps cruised past Austin FC with a dominant 5-1 win on Saturday. One striker made history, scoring 4 goals, setting a franchise single-game record and becoming the first in club history to hit 50 regular season goals. Vancouver's attack was relentless, striking early and often, with the goal in the 13th minute setting the tone. They added 2 more before halftime and didn't let up in the second half. The Whitecaps also got strong support from their midfield and back line, while their keeper notched 3 saves. The win pushed Vancouver to a 6-1-1 start, the best in team history, while Austin, who came up in the league's top defense, was left stunned. It was a night of statement wins and highlight finishes at UFC 314, capped off by Alexander. Oh. Yes. It was a night of statement wins and highlight finishes at UFC 314, capped off by Alexander Volkanovski reclaiming the featherweight title in the main event with a dominant 5-round decision over Diego Lopez. Volkanovski's performances cemented his status as a 2-time champ, while Paddy Pimblett made headlines as in the co-main, stopping Michael Chandler in under 3 rounds to crash into the top 10. Yair Rodriguez delivered a flawless showing, shutting down Patricio Pitbull, and Dominic Reyes continued his comeback with a first-round knockout. The action-packed main card featured knockouts, submissions, and rising stars proving once again why UFC pay-per-view nights never disappoint.
Well, it looks like this has been quite an interesting week for sports. It's a shame that the Nuggets had to fire their head coach, but sometimes you got to make the tough calls for your team, and I'm sure that they'll, keep his memory in their hearts, and they'll keep going on strong.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And also, it's always fun to get to report all these sports and the things that we find throughout the teams nationally, and we get to research them more.
Absolutely, and some of these sports I never have watched or gone to see games, and it's kind of gotten me fascinated, so I might have to check some of these out in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. When we come back, we'll have a discussion on some big sports happenings around the region.
And later we'll have your upcoming Evangel games and the player of the week. We'll be right back.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Welcome back to Sports Update. We'll be taking this time segment to talk about 3 big sports happening around the region, starting with Evangel Track and Field. Then we'll move on to the East and West NBA playoffs, and then we'll end with the MLB current standings. So, starting off with track and field. Many may not know, but you're actually in part of our track and field. So
Yes.
I hear that there's a few things happening this season next year. Care to share some of the things that are happening?
Yes, so our season this year has been really great. We've had strong performances in indoor, and we're seeing very strong performances outdoor too, just with field events, distance, and sprints all around. And I know next year we are having some changes, like you mentioned. Our sprints coach just had a child, so he is taking time away next year, and so we're getting a new sprints coach. And our distance coach is moving to Maine, so we're also getting a new distance coach. He's coming from Kansas Wesleyan. He's the assistant coach there, and he'll be the head coach here at Evangel. He'll come in the fall he'll start off doing cross country, which is something else that I do. It's a fall sport. So I'm excited about that. He seems really nice. We also have a bunch of seniors leaving this year, which I think could affect our how we do next year. So I'm hoping that we get some really good recruits. I'm not sure where we're at in our recruiting, standings at all, but I know we're losing some really talented seniors this year.
Well, I know that you guys will do really good, and I'm sure the recruits you get will just bring us even more victories.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. There's also been a lot of I think team building this year and team culture that the seniors this year have set into place. We do team devos every Tuesday nights.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we also we have worship leaders on our team, so they will lead us in worship some Tuesdays. So it's really fun to get to do that with our team. And I think next year our team culture will just be getting even better as time goes on because of the standards and the things that we have in place now.
Well, that's awesome, and I look forward to seeing how you guys perform next year.
Yeah, me too.
And let's take a look at some of the East and West NBA playoff standings. Looks like for the West, we got OKC and playing another team. We got the Lakers playing the Golden State Warriors. We got some pretty good teams playing for the West, and for the East, we got the Cavaliers playing. We got the Knicks and the Detroit Pistons playing, and then we got the Celtics. You know, I'm pretty looking forward to seeing how these teams will play. I've never been too big into the NBA, but you know, some of these teams I've kind of been fans of. I love LeBron James. I know, but I'm kind of curious to see who would win this. Like, do you have any predictions you think who would win this? You know, do you have any teams in particular that you are a fan of, or?
Yeah, well, I don't actually know a lot of NBA teams, but I do know that the Cleveland Cavaliers have secured, you know, the #1 seed, and they've had a dominant season. And also the Boston Celtics are the #2 seed for the Eastern Conference, and they're the reigning champions. So maybe they'll get another win this year. I think that would be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
To see.
Yeah, I would love to see one of those teams win. I'm okay if any of these teams win. You know, I know there's some teams that have been in the finals more than others, and I think it would be a nice change of pace to kind of see if one of the newer teams that haven't been in as much wins one. You know, I think that would be pretty interesting. But you know, time will tell, and we'll just have to wait and see for those.
Yeah. And next up, the next segment we're talking about is the MLB, right?
MLB, yes, the MLB League. We, you know, they're only just starting recently, but they've already played. There's been a lot of games, you know, been a lot of standings, and you know, we'll take a look at the graph here. Yeah, it looks like in the All-Star American League East, we got the Yankees at 9-7 and Blue Jays at 9-8, both leading, and with the Orioles following close behind at 6-9. And
yeah, in the American League Central, it seems like the leading team is the Detroit Tigers. They have 10 wins and 6 losses. And the second team is the Guardians, who has 8 wins and 7 losses. So the Detroit Tigers seem to be pulling ahead there.
And then in the American West League, we got the Los Angeles Angels with 9-6, followed close behind by the Rangers at 9-7, with the Athletics closing tail at 6-10.
And in the National League East, the Mets are the #1 team right now, leading with 11 wins and 5 losses, and trailing the National League East is the Braves with 5 wins and 11 losses.
Then from National Central, we got the Cubs leading with 11-8, followed by the Reds at 8-8 even, and then the Pirates are trailing with 6-11.
In the National League West, the leading team is the Padres with 14 wins and only 3 losses, which is a great statistic to have. And falling close behind is the Giants with 12 wins and 4 losses.
Well, that's all the time we have for this segment. When we come back, we have our EU Player of the Week and upcoming games. Stay tuned.
What a disaster.
You're a disaster.
This is a disaster.
You can't be ready for every little disaster, but you can prepare for a big one. Make an emergency plan today.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
April halfway done and finals around the corner, EU athletes are working harder than ever.
They have, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they will compete this week too. Now let's show off one of our own and all of their hard work on the field this week.
It's time now for EU TV Sports Player of the Week.
This week, we shine a spotlight on a standout slugger who has had a remarkable weekend at the plate, Valor softball infielder Ellie Facklum. Evangel traveled for their 4th consecutive away series, taking on McPherson College in Kansas, and let's just say the Valor bats were on fire. Ellie Facklum was unstoppable, going 6 for 7 in the doubleheader, scoring 7 runs and driving in 8 RBIs, including 2 home runs, 1 each game. That performance is more than just impressive, it's downright dominant. In Game 1, Facklum wasted no time, hitting a 3-run homer in the very first inning, setting the tone for an 11-2 run rule victory. Then, in Game 2, she continued her assault, capping off Evangel's 18-3 win with a 3-run blast in the 5th inning to seal the deal. A big shout out to Ellie for her outstanding performance. With numbers like that, there is no doubt that Ellie Facklum is the EU TV Player of the Week.
I'm going to really miss doing these Player of the Weeks. It's always great to see the recognition these players get for their hard work, and I'll be sure to tune in next time and check out all the upcoming EU Players of the Week and see how much talent can shine here.
Yes, absolutely. That would be so fun.
Let's take a look at the upcoming sports games. Starting off, the Valor softball team will be playing Wednesday, April 16th at North Newton, Kansas versus Bethel College at 1 and 3 p.m.
And the men's baseball team will face off on Friday, April 18 versus York University here at Evangel at 12 and 3 p.m.
And the Valor softball team will be playing Friday, April 18th here at home versus Kansas Westland at 1 and 3 p.m.
And the men's and women's track team will have a meet on Saturday, April 19th at the Pitt State Outdoor Invitational at Carney Smith Stadium at 9 a.m.
Go Evangel Valor! Well, that's all the time we have for today for Sports Update. We invite you to check out euvalormedia.com for all the latest Evangel news and media. I'm Ethan Mincy.
And I'm Adriana McGregor. Be sure to join us next fall as we bring you the latest in sports news. For more information on Evangel Sports, go to evangelathletics.com. This has been Sports Update on EU TV.